Hello and welcome to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Fremont Unified Superintendent Kim Wallace, sitting in for KK Kaneshiro. As we approach the end of 2018, all sorts of year-in review stories will soon begin to appear on television, in newspapers, and online. Today, we'll do our part, taking a few minutes to look at our school district from a variety of perspectives. Joining us to discuss the state of the district is Assistant Superintendent of Instructional Services, Debbie Ashmore, Associate Superintendent Raul Parangao, and Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, Dr. Raul Zamora. Welcome everybody to the Community Conversations Show. Glad to have you here. For those of you in the audience who don't know, this is my dream team, the people who I work with every day who execute the great work of our district. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the great things that we see going on in the district, as well as some of the challenges that we're facing. So I'd like to hear, just in general, just what are the good things that you're seeing in Fremont Unified that are going on these days?
I could start?
Yeah, start us off.
Well, thank you again for having us here. It's great to be back and share some of the great things that are happening in the district. I manage the district's finances, and there's a lot of great news in that regard. The district's budget is balanced. That's the great news.
That is great news.
We also get positive certification from the Alameda County Office of Education. Every time we develop a budget, we submit them to the county, and they tell us how we did, and we get a positive certification. Our credit rating actually has been good, despite some of the financial challenges that we have. We receive a credit rating that maintains a good credit rating, and our audit findings, there's no audit findings in our financial report. Every year we hire a financial auditor, and every year we get a flying colors on our audit reports.
Great, and I know that at the county level, we're known as the top tier in terms of our finances and making sure that our budget is balanced, and we have a lot of respect from the folks at the county office.
And before I forget, I also would like to mention that this year we also got a cost of living adjustment from the state, 3.7%. So that is a good news for the district.
Right, and that's a change from previous years where they had stopped doing the cost of living increase, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah. What about instructional services? Tell us about some great news in instructional services.
So there's great teaching and learning going on. Best practices is always being utilized in the classrooms that I get the privilege of seeing, and in the conversations that I have with administrators, and then as well as with the directors in instructional services. There's fantastic professional development happening throughout the district in a variety of ways. Our professional learning communities are going strong. Teachers are reviewing data and analyzing that to make decisions about what to bring into the classroom for kids. We just have a general sense, being new to the district, it's very clear that the teachers, the administrators in this district have a very clear commitment to our students in doing what's best for them.
Very much so. That's been my experience as well.
Yeah.
What about in the human resources world, Dr. Zamora?
We did really practicing on trying to streamline the process to try to get people hired quicker and into the classroom to support our students. Back to the professional learning communities. In the MOU process, we are in our third year, and our participation rate has also been stable as far as teachers participating in that, and that works with the union on such MOUs and progress with that.
Can you tell us a little bit what an MOU is? There may be people watching who don't really understand that.
That's right, I apologize.
HR.
That's right. The Memorandum of Understanding. So we get together with our unions whenever we have a project per se that we want to put forward. We'll come to some terms of agreement, and that can be from compensation to time spent, and work out what may be some of the challenges so that we can resolve that and then put something forward. And I think it's been to our district's benefit. Actually, when you're in the position as instructional services assistant superintendent, you started that charge, and it just continues to flourish continuously through our district. And so when we come together to the table and put together a memorandum of understanding, then we really allow our teachers, our administrators to get together and really learn from each other, which I think was really powerful, what David was talking about. So putting the financial piece together, the instructional piece together, and really helping us to provide extra support for our students in the learning process. So that was really good.
That's great. Yes, having that continuity and cohesion is really important. No one of us can do our jobs by ourselves, and it's really great that collaboration is happening in the district at so many different levels. So when we talk about collaboration and we talk about some of the approaches that we have, it's really when we face challenges that we especially need to tighten those resources. So I'm going to bring it back to you about our district's budget. I know that you've told us some of the positive news around the budget, but also let's talk about some of the challenges that we're facing as a district in terms of where we fall in the county and in just the scheme of things in the state for being able to really support our students and our teachers in the classroom.
Well, we have a number of challenges in our finances. First and foremost, the district is still operating on a structural deficit. By that, what I mean is that our expenditures are more than our revenues. And so that is a challenge because year by year you carry that on your financial statement. But then we also have some mandates that we have to comply with the state. For example, pension contribution. Pension has been increasing every year exponentially, approximately about $5 million additional cost per year for the district. Our special education program has also been increasing in expenditures, yet the revenue is not growing. Our expenditure has been growing by approximately almost the same, about $5 million, but there are no additional revenues that are coming in.
So simply put, it means that we're not getting the money from the state or federal government that we need to cover the programs that we're required to offer.
That is correct. Yet we have many mandates that we have to comply with. That comes along with some dollars that we need to spend. And then we are probably the least funded district in the entire Alameda County. There are 18 school districts in Alameda, and on a per student basis, we're the least funded.
Right, and
district.
the second largest.
And the second largest school district. And in terms of challenges, we also, last year, we settled our salary increases with all our bargaining units. This year, we're still in negotiation. And with all those challenges in mind, we are still yet trying to figure out how to be able to settle our salary increases for 2018-19.
Right, and that's a huge challenge. And so human resources intersects in some ways with that. Let's talk a little bit about the teacher shortage. We hear a lot about teacher shortage nationwide as well as in California. How's our teacher retention rate in spite of what's going on in the marketplace?
Well, fortunately, this past year we're at 92%, which is really high for our school district. And some of the areas that we've been looking at is how to combat this teacher shortage. So, for example, currently we have approximately 75 student teachers in our district. So that's a recruiting pool that we have for next school year. We're going to be in our 5th year of our annual job fair recruitments where we actually hire on the spot, offer people contracts. And that's probably our biggest recruitment tool that we have. And we've been leading our county in attracting these teachers into our school district. That's a huge benefit. We also traveled to universities to also recruit there. We also offer on-the-job contracts as well. So yes, we do have the teacher shortage, but we're also working internally. What can we do to help this and get teachers and other educators in the district as soon as possible? So we're continuing to work through that process, and we look really promising for next year as well.
Great. So Raul and Raul have been with us for several years, 6 and 5 years. Going on 7, going on 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in the district for 5 years, second year superintendent. The first couple years were assistant superintendent of instruction. Debbie Ashmore is our new kid on the block. She has joined the team and has just fit in like the perfect fit. But we should hear your impressions of the district and how it's been in terms of transitioning into Fremont Unified and some of your initial thoughts.
What I do notice in Fremont Unified is that the processes and the systems are all in place, and I think that we have to have a very succinct system and process for everything that we do in a district this size. So my background in 29 years of education has always been in smaller districts. This is the largest district that I've ever served in. And so what I realize is that content remains the same from district to district, irregardless of size. And what you have to have in place for scalability is a solid system and policy and procedures that we follow. And that's very clearly identified in a district this size. It was easy to come into that transition into the fold, having content knowledge and being it was very easy to be brought up to speed because of all the systems that were in place.
So what you're saying is this is the best district you've ever worked in.
That's exactly what I was saying, Dr. Wallace.
I always say that too, so good. I'm glad we're in alignment there. So what are some of the things that you would like to share with people who may not understand the inner workings of the district office and how we operate? Because sometimes it can seem like a very foreign place, and the school sites are really the hubs of all the central activity. But what is it that we think that people should know out in our community that is important, bits of information that they may not see behind the curtain? Go ahead.
Well, in managing the finances, we always look for what's on the horizon. And one of the things that we've been hearing from UCLA and from the Legislative Analyst Office, it's been happening for about 2 or 3 years now, is the looming recession.
Yes.
So our state economy is very cyclical, and we have several good years now. And so they have been predicting that there is this recession that is coming soon. And so that is at the back of our mind. The other consideration that we're looking at as we develop the budget is the cost of construction. We are in the middle of $650 million bond construction, and we are being hit right now with a higher escalation than what we anticipated. And so we still have 5 middle schools to convert, and I think that is affecting us negatively at this time. We have a new governor that we are looking forward to his budget proposal for 2019-20. So in January you will hear that. But last but not the least, our enrollment pattern has been shifting. So this year, after 10-12 years of enrollment growth, this year there is an anomaly. We actually have a slight decline this year. But when we updated our demographic report, we see that we're going to be growing again in the next 7 years. And so we're continuously watching that and see how that affects our budget and also our facilities.
Great. Anything else to add?
I would add that for the community at large, I believe that the most important facet of our organization are the school sites, and that the district office is here and exists to serve the school sites. And so we'd want to make sure that with community outreach, if there's questions, if there's anything that we need to do better or support, that we want to know that. We want to be there to make Fremont Unified the most inviting, the highest expectations, and the most supportive environment we can for all of our families.
Thank you.
The only thing I would add is human resources, we're always in the background supporting our 4,000 plus employees, and there's 4,000 variables, and we're trying to always support each individual as an individual and not as a group. And so we're always just trying to support our employees so that they can deliver the best product for our students. And it's a daily commitment. Going back to the job fair, I just wanted to announce, so it's May 4th from 9 a.m. to 4 here at the district office.
All right.
So if you're interested, come join us.
Anybody who's watching who
That's right.
has a child who's a teacher or a mother who's a teacher or a father, bring them in. We're looking to hire the best and the brightest because we really do have some of the strongest teaching staff that I've ever seen in my 25-year career. Another thing that we've been working on in the district has been the Portrait of a Fremont Graduate, which has been a unifying way of looking at how we prepare our students for walking across the stage at graduation, not being the end game, but what goes on beyond. How do they get prepared for their career? How do they get prepared for post-secondary education? And so we've been gathering a lot of data and feedback. Is there any one thing that you would say is the key either characteristic or skill set or something that you would like to see our Fremont graduates have going out into this world that they have in front of them?
It's tough to narrow down.
It is tough.
I would say that I want our students to leave our classrooms with the ability to work with others and to be able to collaborate and problem solve, not as islands, but as a team.
What would you
The
say?
competition in the job market is, has been very, very difficult and competitive lately because you're competing not with your next door neighbor, but rather in the world.
Right.
And so I think our student should be able to compete with all the candidates around the world.
All right, and
I think I would say to always remain curious. Always go forward, learning more. What's about this machine, or what is it about this computer? What is it about people? Always remain curious and just learn more. It doesn't stop here at the Fremont district.
great. These are all great qualities, and as we've been gathering data, we've been seeing those and many more ideas coming through. So this concludes our episode of the Fremont Unified School District leadership team talking about the state of the district and where we're going next. I appreciate you all being here this afternoon, and we thank you all for watching.